This is James Helder for IFL TV. I'm in the Ice Arena today in Sheffield for David Coldwell's show. With me, I've got the main man, Dave Coldwell. How are we doing, Dave?
Wow. Fucking hell. I'm a bit overwhelmed by what a show it was, you know. It's just been brilliant. For a show that I was expecting to have a 6 out of 10 because I half expected a couple of good fights. I thought Chad and Amwar would be a good fight. I thought Jerome and Serge would be a good fight, and I thought that the Kofi Yates and Wage would be a good fight. But I thought they'd be good fights, and I thought that it'd be, you know, the show would be about a 6 out of 10. I was hoping for, because all the pull-outs and everything. I was just on a real downer with the show. Everything happened with Max Hughes and Joseph Laryea. I wasn't looking forward to it. Wow, I'm giving it a 12 out of 10. You know, without a doubt, we've got contenders for Fight of the Year in Jerome Wilson and Serge Mbomo. And then we've got knockout here with Chad Gaynor doing an absolute number on Adil Amwar. It was a quality. He's a quality fighter. He's a quality fighter. He just got caught with a beautiful shot. And when they go down like that, it's a bit scary. You can't really celebrate as much as
mixed reactions in the crowd, wasn't it?
Yeah, because it's scary. You don't ever want to see a fighter go down on his face like that. Yeah. And it kind of mutes your celebration and such. But then you look back on after it and wow, that was amazing. Like knockout of the year stuff, 100%. If there's a better knockout than that this year, on Box Nation, Sky, Channel 5, whatever.
How can I watch the knockout? Do I go on the Coldwell app?
Next Friday, next Friday it'll be on Coldwell Television on video on demand, and you'll be able to see the knockout, and you really want to see the knockout. But also you really want to see Jerome against Serge. I'm not exaggerating.
It's great.
You got two fit athletes, two guys that look in unbelievable physical condition, swinging away bombs at each other and landing. It's not like they weren't landing on each other, they were landing on each other. It's a brilliant fight.
Tit for tat all the way through.
Brilliant fight. There's no title on the line for that. You know, it's a 6-round fight, and you show what these kids are doing up and down the country. It's a great advert for British boxing for me. Great advert for British boxing. I loved it.
Would there be any chance of making that fight again, and maybe on the back end of a bigger show? Because it was a great fight. It's something I think could work in any arena.
I would love to. I would love to make that fight again. I would love to make Ben Wager and Kofi Yates again. That was cracking.
That was great.
You know, it was great. That was
1 point in that.
Yeah,
well.
that was where you've got two guys chest to chest and just firing away at each other and everything. What a fight that was. But I'm blown away with Jerome. I've had Jerome since he was 16. I've either trained him, managed him, or worked with him since he was 16.
He's a cracking guy.
And he's a lovely kid. He's a grafter. Unfortunately, he doesn't sell many tickets, which is why he doesn't always get out on the shows.
He seems
and such.
to have a fantastic support today.
Today, yeah, because listen, I'm not being funny. A fight of that caliber, when people start watching it, they remember that, you know. And I would hope that now that'll catapult him a little bit, and so he gets more support, because he deserves it. What a fight! I mean, any fighter that goes out there and does that, it's the stuff that we, as a promoter, as a manager, you can only dream about being involved in a fight like that. You know, that was just unbelievable. And Curtis Woodhouse is all about tear-ups and being a fan and stuff. And he said that that's the greatest fight that he's seen. For me, that is right up there with the best fight I've ever been sat ringside for.
Be a travesty if we didn't see those two men separately on bills, because after putting in that kind of commitment and that kind of performance, and thing is, Serge done the exact same thing last week. I know. He was a carbon copy of his fight last week. I don't exaggerate. So,
but you see, this is why we want fights like that. We want real fights. We want fights where the crowd are going to be entertained. You might have missed out on a few big names that have dropped out of a bill, but the other guys that are on the bill go out there and give it their all and provide entertainment. And you heard the crowd. Listen, after Jerome and Serge, I have never been at a 6-round undercard fight where everybody in the arena stood up, and everybody was, they're just absolutely amazing what they just watched. It was brilliant fight.
Max Hughes' opponent, Laryea, there's been a lot of controversy about that. I don't want to go into it too much, because I don't feel I know all the ins and outs.
It's quite simple.
Go on.
I thought I'd got a great fight for the show. We'd fetched him over from Ghana.
Don't forget, this guy's fought for a world title.
Yeah, he landed at Heathrow. We've paid for a driver to go and fetch him. bring him back up, and then Damien, who works for me, rings me up and he says, Laryea's injured, he can't fight. This is late on the night. What night is it? It's Friday today. There's late Wednesday night. I'm like, what? He's injured, he can't move his shoulder. So alarm bells start ringing.
Was he prepared to fight with an injury?
No, not at that point he wasn't. But the next morning I went down on my way to the hotel to go and see him. I'm getting a message off his promoter saying, don't worry, he's fighting. But I'm saying, well, he's injured. No, he will fight, 100%.
Do you think that's the case of the left hand not talking to the right hand, or do you think it's
no?
Something more than that?
I think it's a little bit more sinister, to be honest, because I went down and I saw the kid for himself, and he couldn't move his left arm. He was genuinely in pain. And whereas I thought I'm going to put it on him a little bit and try and convince him to fight, the minute he said to me, "It's not about money. I'm here to win," I thought, hang on a minute, this isn't like, you know, one of these Africans that just go in anywhere. And I knew it was legit. And when it's legit, the minute I knew it was legit, I just said, all right, forget it. You know, obviously you can't fight. And then his promoter started still saying he's going to fight. I'll make him fight. I said, I don't want him to fight. He's injured.
What? They actually, his words were, "I will make him fight."
Yes,
that was his
yeah, on the messages. Yeah, he'll make him fight.
Absolutely terrible. Isn't it?
Saying that there's nothing wrong with him. He will fight. Apparently, what's happened is that he's got a connecting flight to Turkey, gone to the toilet in Turkey, and slipped. And when he slipped, he's gone over. He's hit his shoulder, and he can't move his left arm. Now, his promoters basically ditched him. I was asking him for him to come and pick him up.
What do you mean he's just ditched him? Like,
well, he's here on his own, and he wouldn't arrange for transport for him to go back to London or to pick him up, have somebody pick him up and look after him. So we've had to look after him between Damien and Nelson, who work for us at Coldwell Boxing. They've had to basically look after him. We've had him in hotels, we've fed him, we've made sure he's all right. We've brought him here tonight. The first thing that I wanted to do once they pulled out is I took pictures of him outside a Holiday Inn in Rotherham, because I know people say, "Oh, you never brought him over here. It's full of shit." But I didn't.
But you have seen him here today,
and he's been here tonight. So you know, he's here, and it is legit. And I feel so sorry for him, because I had a good chat with him yesterday in the office, and yeah, it's not right. It's not nice.
I've got to be careful what I say.
Yeah.
Because obviously the legal ramifications of stuff. But do you ever worry that sometimes promoters, I'm not saying this promoter, but promoters from abroad charge a fee for a fighter, that the fee actually gets to the fighter?
Yeah.
This is something that I know it must play on your mind a little bit as well, Dave.
Yeah, because you know it does happen. It does happen, and it's not even about the money, you know. It's about how they treat. And this kid's injured up here on his own, and no money, and being basically just left. You know, some of the stuff, I mean, I'm not saying to you what was messaged to us, but some of the stuff that was messaged, I'll show you off camera, was unbelievable. You know, it's not nice.
It's immoral.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
that I can say.
And I like the kid, and I feel sorry for the kid, and it's 100% legit. He came to win, and he wouldn't get in the ring to fight less than 100%. So I respect him for that. You can't slag him off.
He's fought for a world title.
Exactly.
He's going to have respect for himself.
Exactly. And people can say, oh, he shit it and all this. He didn't shit it because he was here to win. If it was just about the money, he would have gone in there. As soon as he got attacked, he'd have gone down. How many Africans and other Latvians or what have you ever seen get a little dig and then jump on floor? He could have done that and earned himself some money, but he didn't. You know, it's not like a 20-minute drive up a motorway coming from Ghana.
That's right.
So he's travelled and everything, and you know, come away from his family for nothing basically, and he doesn't get paid, he doesn't get nothing. So yeah, I kind of feel sorry for him. Yeah. And you know, as it turned out, the show ended up being alright. I felt so sorry for Maxi, but Maxi showed a lot to me in how he reacted to it. How he reacted to it in such a professional manner, on the telephone, in person. He didn't have sulks, he didn't have face on, and he went out there and did a professional job. And fair play to Kasim Hussein.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah,
mate. You owe Kasim Hussein a massive drink.
Oh, massive. He, you know, he's a professional fighter.
Get him on the show again.
I'd love to have him on the show again. He's a kid that, you know, he knows his level. He's 1-10 or something, 1-10-2. So he knows his levels. He knows the levels that he's at, and yet he took a fight against Max Hughes at, you know, a day's notice. So fair respect to him. You know, I've got a lot of credit going out to him.
Sorry about that, Dave. I had to change the battery because you've pushed me like a slave driver. You've killed a whole battery.
Too much information going on in this place.
Indeed, indeed. Now, it has been such a fantastic show, and I don't want to leave it just talking about the controversy. The show today has been absolutely fantastic, Dave.
Really enjoyed it.
Congratulations on getting
Appreciate
involved,
you coming again as usual.
Yeah.
You know, giving us exposure. So
I enjoy coming up. How's the Coldwell app going?
It's going great.
A lot of promoters could learn a lot from David Coldwell.
It's going great, you know. It is. I mean, I'd like to do other promoter shows as well. It all depends because you have to, because of the production costs and everything we have to incur. Then it has to be a bill that's going to get views. Because if it's not going to get views, then we're paying out production costs for no reason. So you know, if
it means you're laying out more money on purses for supporting the quality fights.
No, it's not. Yeah. I mean, it's got to. If somebody has got a good, there's a lot of good shows that are going on, but they're not the shows that people outside that town are going to watch, so viewing figures won't be great. So then the production costs of putting it on aren't really worth spending compared to the amount of views you're going to get. And that's what it's about. We need to, like anything, you need to get views. And
talking to me about views.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've got 30,000 people with it on the phones.
That's
Hopefully
fantastic.
It's boosted a bit for this show, and that's what tends to happen. Obviously, we know any IFL TV. But there's a lot more than 30,000 boxing fans in this country. It's a free app, so really, you know.
How do I do? What do I do? Like, go on my iPhone. I go to
on
the
your
App
iPhone
Store.
or your Android device, and you go to either App Store or Google Play. Go in a search bar and just type in Coldwell Television. It's not Coldwell TV. It's Coldwell Television, and then up it comes. Download for free, watch for free, and we got an extensive catalogue on our video on demand.
I can watch like the back catalogue. Just sit there when I'm at work.
And people do that. I get tweets off of people all the time. My Twitter on coming up, whether it's a show or not. People are always tweeting me every so often. I've just watched this fight from Coldwell TV, from that show, blah blah blah. And it's there. It's if you've got no boxing on the box, you can put it on your phone.
Can you see Coldwell Boxing working closer with Matchroom on this new idea they're developing, where a lot of the promoters around the country, the top end promoters, are going to be working with Eddie and Matchroom to develop a new kind of online platform. Are you involved in this, Dave, in any way, in shape or form?
It's something that Eddie's mentioned to me, and it's something that we're looking at.
Okay.
But
fills you with excitement?
I think it's brilliant for boxing. But obviously, we've got Coldwell Television as well. So we're not just going to palm Coldwell TV off. And Eddie knows that, and we'll look at what how we can work it. But it's exciting. I think it's a brilliant idea.
Great for boxing.
I didn't realise you was all right to say that on film.
IFL TV. We say what we like.
Because I didn't think that it was out there yet. But yeah, it's something that's very exciting for the game, and it's what it needs, and it's great. I think it's a great idea he's doing. He gets a lot of stick.
Some called for, some bit uncalled for.
But listen, nobody's perfect in this game, Frank Warren does a lot of good, and he's done a lot of good for a lot of years, but he can't do everything right. And it's like Eddie's come along, and he's a grafter. People don't understand he's actually a grafter. Everybody at Matchroom are grafters, and right from John Wish to people like Frank Smith and people like that, Anthony Lever and Matt Rich, everybody. But they're a good team, and I like working with them because we get on. I get on with them. But also they will. I get an opportunity to work with them, and I get an opportunity to have my fighters on Sky. I get an opportunity to put shows on together or whatever. But when it suits him and Matchroom, and when it suits us and what we're doing, some people say, why don't you put, that's a great fight, Anwar against Chad Gaynor just refereeing, why don't you put it on Eddie Hearn's show? Well, why? I want it for my own show.
That's right, yeah.
But that's what I mean, it's got to work together. And when it works together, then we work together. And when it doesn't, then we do his own things. But we're trying to do good stuff for boxing. But I think the thing about boxing is, it just seems as though you can't be a supporter of the sport and want that promoter to do well, that promoter to do well, I want all promoters to do well, because then the sport becomes more mainstream. It's not just having one promoter doing well, because then it's just if people don't like that promoter, then they're not going to watch it. So I want all the promoters to do well, because then we have better fights, we have better fighters, we have more fans, and then it's happy days. And then there's more work for us all, you know. But there's too much bullshit that goes off, really. And too much negative energies on wanting people to fail. I don't give a fuck whether people fail or not. I want people, as long as my shit's alright, and everything that myself, Spencer, Damien, and Beth and everybody in our office are doing is working for our fighters, as long as that's happening, then I'm not really arsed, you know. It's like when a fighter leaves, oh, do you want him to get beat? No, I don't really give a shit, because end of the day, it's not my responsibility anymore. It's not my fighter anymore. If my fighter gets beat, then that hurts me, because I'm trying to do something with him. If he's not my fighter, I ain't asked.
Boxing's an ever-changing landscape.
I just want to see good fights. If it's a good fight, then great, you know. And I will always appreciate fucking warriors in this game, because there's, you know, it's like Jerome there. There's kids in this game that will do stuff and put everything online for not a lot of money. You know, even some people fighting for world titles will do it for the opportunity and take the short end of the stick to get the opportunity, and then give it everything they've got. And because this is a sport that they're into, and this is a sport that they love, you know. And we're all big fans. I'm a boxing fan, and I just have to be so lucky that I'm heavily involved in working in a sport that I love, in a job that I love. So for me, it's happy days, and we've just had a cracking show tonight. But we have to move on. We have to make sure that When's the
next show?
May 24th, D-side. We've got the return of Tom Duran against Harry Matthews. We've got Andy Jones on the bill. We've got Robbie Davis Jr. back out again. You know, I'm enjoying working with these fighters that want to fight and that get the sport. Now, we've got some great fighters in our stable. Some kids that you'll never hear of, and some kids will never be superstars. But we've got one or two that I do think will be little stars.
Go on then, if you had to tip one Coldwell prospect.
I can't pick one.
Alright, tip two then.
I think Robbie Davis Jr. is one.
Great haircut.
Another one with an haircut, Chad Gaynor.
Chad Gaynor.
You know, little Liam Manran. I think he's a kid that's going to develop into one. You know, we got a few, we got a handful.
Chad Gaynor's power.
Yeah.
Something not to be underestimated.
Exactly. He's, you know, and he's got a bit of a package going on, because he's got charisma. There's something about him that you know, it draws you to want to watch him. Whether it's his hair, whether it's his, you know, I don't know what it is. He's got something about him. He's very personal, and he's very likable. You know, and if you're very likable, you can attract people to come and want to watch you. It's not all about being a badass and about, you know, being a bell end and, you know, thinking that you're all this and all that. It's not all about that. Yeah. Some people like to come and support people that are nice kids, you know, and that come across well. And I would rather have a fighter be a nice kid than a bell end, because I find nice kids a lot easier to work with, you know. And as a company, we tend to want to work with people that are easy to work with.
I've heard this mantra before. I've heard you tell me this before.
Yeah.
Good thing.
But all in all, it's been a great night. All in all, I'm absolutely buzzing. I'm shocked, because I didn't think it was going to be like this, but it's been brilliant.
Congratulations on a great show, Dave.
Cheers, thank you.
Thanks for having our full TV down,
Thanks
mate.
a lot, mate.
And we'll see you.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Cheers.
you.